Nate Tibbetts told us before the game, no one feels sorry for us right now. In that home-and-home series. Kick out 6 on the shot clock in the corner. It's Hull. As she gets that to go, and Gainbridge Fieldhouse can collectively take a seat.
They said the Fever were finished. 16 points down in the first quarter at home, getting run off their own floor by a Phoenix Mercury
Thomas, with a head of steam, lays that up.
Team that showed up looking for a fight from the opening tip. And then Caitlin Clark decided that wasn't going to be the story tonight.
Here's Rashawn for 3. Mac fighting for that offensive rebound. Rashawn, the cut, the finish.
About to relive isn't just a basketball recap. It's a street fight wrapped inside a comeback. 5 technical fouls, a player ejected. A confrontation between Clark and DeWanna Bonner that lit the fuse, and a separate, even nastier stare down between Alyssa Thomas and Myisha Hines-Allen that ended with Hines-Allen walking to the locker room early. Sophie Cunningham, never one to watch quietly when her team's getting tested, planted herself in the middle of it, pointing fingers, laughing in Bonner's face as things boiled over. And by the time the dust settled and the final buzzer sounded, the scoreboard read Indiana 86, Phoenix 77, one of the most dramatic, fiery comebacks the WNBA has seen all season. Let's go possession by possession.
Thomas able to drop into Linskins, and that one flips up.
And break down exactly how this one unfolded. Setting the table going into this Monday night matchup on June 22nd, the Fever had momentum behind them. Indiana had been rolling through a stretch of wins, and Caitlin Clark was playing some of the best two-way basketball of her young career, shooting, passing, controlling tempo, doing everything a franchise centerpiece is supposed to do. Phoenix had other plans. The Mercury rolled into Gainbridge Fieldhouse with a roster built to be uncomfortable to play against. Collie Copper, one of the most
4 seconds here for Mitchell to work with, rises from 3.
Dangerous two-way guards in the league, was the headline act. Alyssa Thomas, a bulldozer who makes life miserable for any frontcourt that tries to match her physicality, was ready to bully Indiana's bigs all night. And DeWanna Bonner, a 14-year veteran with a complicated recent history in Indiana, having briefly worn a Fever jersey last season before an abrupt and messy exit, was not walking back into that building to play nice. Nobody could have guessed just how personal and how physical this one would get. Quarter 1, Phoenix comes out throwing haymakers from the opening possession. Phoenix made their intentions clear. This wasn't going to be a feel-out period. Collie Copper attacked the rim relentlessly. Alyssa Thomas bodied her way to loose balls and second-chance buckets like she had something to prove. The Mercury were the more direct, more physical.
Clark, even with the Yayi outstretched, able to knock that down. On the floor is Hines-Allen and Ayayi, but Ayayi's able to get it out. Here's Bonner, left open.
Team in every facet of the floor, and the result was an avalanche. By the time the first quarter horn sounded, Phoenix had built a stunning 13-point cushion. Indiana looked rattled, out of rhythm on offense, a step slow on defense, and the home crowd that packed Gainbridge Fieldhouse had gone quiet, the kind of nervous, uneasy quiet that settles in when a team's worst fears start to look real. Phoenix's biggest run of the entire night came in this opening stretch, and for 10 minutes it looked like Indiana might be in for a long evening. But cameras kept finding the same image on the Fever bench. Caitlin Clark not sulking, not staring blankly at the scoreboard, but clapping, talking, pulling teammates in close.
Too wide open, right? I mean, that's a nice elbow look for AT. That's in her wheelhouse.
Clark lob inside, Boston with
close. She wasn't panicking. She was setting up the next 20 minutes. Belonged to Phoenix. The second belonged entirely to Caitlin Clark. Indiana flipped the script completely, outscoring the Mercury 35-22 over the period. Arguably the most dominant.
And the defense turned to offense. Into the corner. Mitchell.
Dominant 10 minutes of basketball either team played all night, and it ran almost entirely through their point guard. This was Clark doing what she does when she's locked in, pulling up from well beyond the three-point line, the kind of range that makes defenders flinch just watching her catch the ball. Every time Phoenix sagged off, daring her to shoot from distance, she made them pay. She finished the night having connected on 3 triples, and in that second quarter, each one landed like a gut punch to Phoenix's momentum. It wasn't just the perimeter shooting, either. Clark also worked her way to the rim with a step-back jumper from 15 feet, ESPN, mixing in craft and footwork to finish through contact when the Mercury tried to take away the 3. and she was setting the table for everyone else, finding cutters, hitting shooters in rhythm, playing
Clark over half to Mitchell. Mitchell attacking, lays that up and in. Back
24 points on the night with 9 assists. ESPN, Fox News, the kind of stat line that swings a game. Kelsey Mitchell caught fire right alongside her, feeding off the rhythm Clark was creating. By halftime, the 13-point hole Indiana had dug for themselves was gone, replaced by a fever lead, and Gainbridge Fieldhouse had come roaring back to life. The incident, tempers boil over this game, will be remembered for its basketball, but it'll also be remembered for just how chippy it got. 5 technical fouls were whistled in total, a number that tells you everything about the temperature on that floor by the end of the night. The flashpoint came early in the fourth quarter. Clark fouled Bonner, and the two ended up tangled up close, with Bonner pulling her arm away and setting Clark off, who started chirping at her while walking toward the baseline. Yahoo Sports. A referee rushed in to separate them before things escalated further, and for a second it looked like the game might just continue on schedule. It didn't. As Bonner walked away from that exchange, Alyssa Thomas and Myisha Hines-Allen had squared up nose to nose, jawing at each other. Yahoo Sports. That's when Sophie Cunningham, the same Sophie Cunningham who spent time in Phoenix before becoming one of Indiana's most fearless competitors, stepped directly into the
Clark into Billings with the finish and the foul.
I don't mind a couple of those, if I'm being honest.
Mo Billings having herself a third quarter here.
Middle of it. Cunningham pointed directly at Bonner as Bonner continued barking at the officials while her own teammates tried to pull her away, and cameras caught Cunningham laughing as the whole situation escalated around her. Yahoo Sports. Fox News. Alyssa Thomas, Bonner's fiancée, rushed in as well to back her up. Fox News. And for a few tense moments, both benches were involved. Phoenix's Valeriane Eide ended up physically restraining both Bonner and Thomas to keep the peace, while Clark stood off to the side, clapping in their direction. Yahoo Sports, not exactly backing down from the moment. When play finally resumed, the fallout came fast. Myisha Hines-Allen was ejected following another heated exchange with Thomas. Yahoo Sports. By the time the dust settled, 5 different players had picked up technical fouls from the scuffle. Cunningham, Bonner, Thomas, Clark, who picked up her 5th technical of the season, and Hines-Allen, who collected 2 on her way to the ejection. Sports Illustrated. Afterward, Cunningham made it clear she wasn't losing any sleep over it.
You've got to surround her with great outside shooters. She'll find you the rock.
Clark, the elbow jumper. Go.
She told reporters it was just part of the game, that the team kept their composure even if things could have been diffused a little sooner, and that what mattered most was finishing the win and building from there defensively. Sports Illustrated. She struck a similar note when asked about the broader scuffle, saying it's fine for competitors to stand their ground, that things get chippy in professional sports sometimes, and that the focus needed to stay on winning the game and improving on defense. Yahoo Sports, there's also a layer of history underneath all of this that made the moment feel even more.
4 seconds. Mitchell in her dribble bag, pull-up jumper, such a sock. Wrapped up and taken away by a Chesky. Off the screen.
Bonner had actually started the 2025 season in an Indiana uniform before taking a leave of absence shortly after, requesting a trade, eventually getting waived, and ultimately landing with Phoenix. Sports Illustrated. So when Bonner
with the 86-77 win, you see Team USA coaching staff teammates embrace there between Nate Tibbetts and Stephanie White.
Criticizing fans for booing Bonner afterward. Fox News. Quarter 3. Indiana buries the Mercury. Whatever emotional residue lingered from the fireworks, it didn't slow Indiana down. If anything, it seemed to sharpen them. The third quarter was the most one-sided stretch of the entire game, with the fever
able to withstand all of that. Well, I mean, obviously, I appreciate the refs just calling the foul so it didn't get completely out of hand, but that might have been on record the longest fourth quarter in history of the WNBA. I don't know. It feels like it's midnight right now, but just proud of our group, especially from the way we bounced back after the first quarter. We're really
inside. Her line by the end of the game told the story of a player who refused to leave anything on the table. A double-double, with elite efficiency from the field, and a team best plus-minus that reflected just how much better Indiana played with her on the floor. Kelsey Mitchell kept doing her part too, quick, slippery, impossible to stay attached to off the dribble. She and Clark were running pick and roll actions to perfection by this point in the game, and every time Phoenix tried to load up on Clark, Mitchell made them pay for it going downhill. By the time the third quarter ended, Indiana's lead had ballooned well past where Phoenix's first quarter advantage had peaked. The game had been completely turned on its head. Quarter 4. Phoenix plays out the clock. To Phoenix's credit, they didn't fold quietly.
And it was ugly.
The Mercury actually won the fourth quarter, with Alyssa Thomas continuing to be a load around the basket and finishing with a strong personal stat line. 19 points, 9 assists, and 5 rebounds. Yahoo Sports, worth of production that, on a different night against a different opponent, might have been enough to steal a win. Collie Copper added 20 points of her own before fouling out late, a reminder of exactly why she's considered one of the most dangerous scorers in the league. But none of it mattered. Indiana had built too much of a cushion through the middle 2 quarters, and the Fever spent the fourth quarter managing the clock and picking their spots rather than chasing anything. The final horn sounded with Indiana on top, 86-77. By the numbers, when you step back and look at the box score, the shape of this comeback becomes even clearer. Caitlin Clark finished with 24 points and 9 assists. ESPN. Fox News, anchoring a Fever offense that needed someone to steady it after a brutal start. Kelsey Mitchell was the perfect complement, scoring 22 points. ESPN. Fox News of her own, and giving Phoenix a second matchup problem just as they started keying in on Clark. Monique Billings quietly put together one of the most efficient and impactful performances of the night, controlling the glass and providing the kind of energy that swings momentum in a team's favor. As a unit, Indiana's turnaround was almost total. A sluggish, undisciplined first quarter gave way to a dominant second, an even more dominant third, and a fourth quarter spent firmly in control. The final score read Fever 86, Mercury 77, ESPN. But the real story was the swing, from down double digits early to comfortably in command by the final buzzer. The takeaway strip away the chaos, the technical fouls, and the ejection. And what's left
we scored 6 points, but we had 3 there with like a half a second. So we figured it out and battled and played good defense on the stretch.
Yeah, under 80 points that you allowed in this game. What did you like defensively in the effort tonight?
Yeah, we just, I think we got the ball out of AT's hands. We got them into some harder shots. We contested around the rim, and then we rebounded, and then we pushed in transition. Thought we could do a little bit better jobs in our schemes and what we're trying to do scout-wise, but play them again in a day. So we'll go back to the drawing board and come up with another plan.
I was just about to ask you, things got a little heated in this game, and you've got this team again on Wednesday. What's important as you prepare for that matchup?
Just stay focused on the goal. Stay focused on the goal, and that's to win the game. Leave everything else aside and just go out there and compete.
Caitlin, thanks for the time.
Yeah, thank you.
18-point deficit erased, a fierce response in the trenches, and a road team that left Indianapolis having lost both the basketball game and the battle for the last word. If you watched this one live, you already know it was special. If you missed it, now you know exactly what you're catching up on. Please like ND, subscribe the channel for further update.